All right, so get this. We're going deep on weight management today, but not the same old stuff you hear everywhere. You know, want to go beyond just the basic tips
Right.
and get into what really makes that number on the scale move.
Yeah, we're talking way beyond willpower today. Some of these things even surprised me when I first started reading about them.
Okay, so give me the first one. What's something most people wouldn't think is a factor?
Get ready for this. It's your gut. Well, the bacteria in your gut.
Hmm.
It turns out trillions of bacteria in your digestive system, they have a huge impact on your weight.
Wait, hold on. So are we talking like good bacteria versus bad bacteria here, or what?
It's not that simple. It's more about having a lot of different types of bacteria.
Okay, so explain that to me. I've heard about the microbiome, but...
So imagine your gut is like a rainforest, right?
Mm-hmm.
The healthier it is, the more diverse species of plants and animals there are.
Okay, yeah.
It's the same with your gut. Studies are showing that people with a wider variety of those gut microbes tend to have a lower BMI.
Oh, interesting.
And here's the really cool part. There was a study, it was done with twins. And even though they shared the same genes, the twin with more diverse gut bacteria, guess what weighed less?
Wow, so it's not all about our genes then. I mean, these little guys are in control too.
Yeah, you could say that.
Yeah.
And the why is really interesting too. So different types of bacteria, they all do different things in your gut. Some of them, they help you break down fiber. And some of them, they help you extract energy from food.
Right.
And others, they influence like inflammation and your hormones.
So basically, like if you have a diverse, like a good balanced microbiome, then your gut's going to work the way it's supposed to.
Yeah.
Which means it can process calories better and regulate weight.
You got it. And here's the good news. We can actually change the diversity in our gut with the food we eat.
Oh, okay. So tell me more about that. What should we be eating?
You want to make friends with those little guys?
Yeah, exactly.
You got to eat lots of fiber.
Okay.
So that's your whole grains, fruits, vegetables, legumes.
Ah, the good stuff.
Yeah, all that good stuff. It's like fertilizer for your gut garden,
Oh.
It helps all those beneficial bacteria just grow and flourish.
So it's not about starving yourself. It's about feeding your gut.
Exactly.
I like that approach.
And then there's two other things, probiotics and prebiotics.
Okay. Yeah, tell me about those.
You've probably heard of probiotics, right?
Yeah.
Those are found in things like yogurt and fermented veggies.
Oh, okay, yeah.
You can think of those as introducing like the good bacteria directly to your gut, right?
Right.
And then there's prebiotics, and they're like food for the good bacteria that are already in there.
Oh, okay.
You can find those in things like onions, garlic, bananas.
Just probiotics are like reinforcements. Prebiotics are the supplies.
That's a great way to put it.
Okay, I get it. I get it. But what about genetics? Do our genes play a role too?
Oh, absolutely.
Eh.
Your genes can influence so much, like your metabolism, your appetite hormones, and even where you store fat.
Ugh, I knew it. So if you're like predisposed to weight gain, are you just fighting an uphill battle?
Not necessarily. And this is where it gets really interesting. Your genes, they're like a blueprint, but they're not set in stone. And there's this whole field called epigenetics.
Okay.
And it basically shows that the choices you make, your lifestyle choices, can change how your genes work. It's like having dimmer switches for your genes.
So you can like dim the weight gain genes and brighten the lean ones. I like it.
Exactly. So many things influence this. Exercise, your diet, how stressed you are.
Whoa.
They can all change which genes are expressed and how strong they are. It's about making your genes work with you.
Okay, that makes me feel a little better. So even if my whole family is prone to, gaining weight, it's not like a guarantee for me.
Nope, definitely not.
All right. And while we're on the topic of personalized approaches, have you heard of genetic testing for weight loss? Like to find out how your body responds to different foods or exercise?
Absolutely. That's some pretty cutting-edge stuff. There are tests that can analyze your genes and give you insights on how your body processes different types of food
Oh, wow.
and how you respond to certain exercises. It can help you create a truly personalized plan.
Okay, I'm adding that to my list. But for now, let's talk about something I know we can all relate to, meal timing.
Okay.
Specifically, late night snacks. Are they as bad as we've always heard?
Well, it turns out your body, it has its own preferred schedule for dealing with calories. And our circadian rhythm, that's our internal clock, it plays a role in that.
Wait, so my metabolism has like a schedule too. I'm in trouble.
Pretty much. Studies have shown that we process calories better during the day, like
Wow.
when the sun's up, meaning we're way better at turning food into energy that.
So my body wants to eat like a king in the morning and a pauper at night. Man.
Yeah, think of it that way. So if you eat most of your calories earlier in the day, you're working with your body's natural rhythm. And that can be a big help with weight management.
Okay, that makes sense. So what about people who work at night or who have, weird schedules? Are they just out of luck?
It makes it harder, that's for sure, but they can still work with their own rhythms as much as possible. The main thing is to just be consistent.
So even if their day starts at like 8 p.m., having regular meal times would still help.
Yeah, exactly. Every little bit helps.
All right. And since we're talking about adjustments, what about our behavior around food? It's not all just about what you eat, but how and when and why, right?
Absolutely. Stress eating, mindless snacking, all those late night cravings, they all make it harder to manage your weight.
Oh, tell me about it. What can we do to break those habits?
Well, there's mindful eating, for one.
Mindful eating.
It's basically being present when you eat.
Yeah.
Not just shoving food in your mouth while you're doing something else.
So no more scrolling on my phone during dinner. Ugh.
Well, there's more to it than that.
Uh,
You want to slow down, chew your food really well, taste everything, and notice when you start to feel full.
so you're saying actually enjoy eating. What a concept.
Exactly. And here's a simple tip. Don't eat while you're doing other things, like watching TV or working. Put your phone away and just focus on the food. It can make a big difference.
Okay, I can try that. What else can help?
Well, remember, out of sight, out of mind.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
If you don't keep junk food around, you're less likely to eat it. So put those snacks away in a cupboard, out of sight. And if you do eat them, try to just have a small portion.
Moderation, moderation, moderation.
Right. It's not about never eating those things. It's just about making a conscious decision.
And what about those food diaries? Do those actually help?
Oh, yeah. You'd be surprised at what you learn about yourself when you write down everything you eat. Sometimes just writing it down makes you think twice before you eat something.
Like a little accountability partner right there in your notebook.
That's it.
Okay, so we've covered gut bacteria, genes, meal timing, even behavior change. But there's one more I want to talk about.
Yeah.
And it's honestly a little intimidating to me.
Uh-oh, which one is that?
Hormones.
Yes, hormones. They're definitely powerful when it comes to weight, but they're also very misunderstood.
Okay.
They can affect your appetite, how fast your metabolism is, even how your body stores fat.
I know, right? It feels like they have a mind of their own sometimes.
It's wild. And one of the coolest things is that some weight loss procedures, like bariatric surgery, actually work by changing your hormone levels.
Wait, really? So it's not just about making your stomach smaller?
Right. It actually changes the hormonal signals that tell your brain you're full or hungry.
Oh, wow, that's fascinating. But surgery is a pretty drastic step.
So what about those of us who aren't going that route? Can we still, regulate our hormones naturally?
Yes, you definitely can. And good news, it all goes back to those healthy habits we've been talking about.
All right, tell me more.
So there are a few key hormones that really control hunger and how full you feel. Ghrelin, that's known as the hunger hormone, it's released when your stomach's empty.
Then there's leptin, which signals to your brain that you're full and you should stop eating. Now, sometimes in people with obesity, there's something called leptin resistance, which basically means their body isn't responding to those fullness signals.
No, so even if you feel full, your body's not getting the message.
Yeah, it's tough. But here's the good news. There are things you can do to improve that leptin sensitivity.
Okay, good. Like what?
Making sure you get enough protein, exercising regularly, and managing your stress, all of those help.
So yet again, it's the healthy habits that make the difference.
Pretty much. They really are the foundation for everything.
And I remember you mentioning earlier some new research on treatments that actually mimic hormonal changes.
Yes. Still early, but super exciting stuff. They're basically trying to develop treatments that can adjust hormone levels to help people lose weight.
Oh, wow. So are we talking about a weight loss pill that reprograms your hormones? Sounds kind of sci-fi, but sign me up.
Well, it's not quite a magic pill yet.
Yeah.
But who knows what the future holds? It's definitely an area to watch.
I'm adding hormone hacking to my research list for sure. But before we go too far down that rabbit hole, we need to talk about the big one, calories.
Yes, calories.
I know we're trying to go beyond the simple calories in, calories out thing, but they still matter, right?
Oh, absolutely.
Right.
Calories are still part of the equation, but as we've been saying, it's not just about the number. It's more complicated than that. Not all calories are the same.
Okay, so break it down for me. Why does it matter where my calories come from as long as I stay within a certain limit?
It's like this, your body isn't just a calculator. It's a system, and it reacts differently to different types of fuel.
Okay, so it's about the quality of the calories, not just the quantity.
Exactly. Like, think about those processed sugars and refined carbs.
Hmm.
They're digested so quickly. It's
Huh.
like throwing kindling on a fire.
Yeah.
You get a quick burst of energy, but then it burns out fast. So you get those blood sugar
Oh,
spikes,
yeah.
and then those crashes, and you end up craving more sugar.
It's like a never-ending cycle.
And your body, it tries to control those spikes by releasing insulin. But sometimes it overdoes it, and then you end up with low blood sugar, so you feel tired, hungry, and crave more sugary snacks.
Ugh, I hate that. So is fiber the key then?
Fiber can definitely help.
Uh-huh.
Foods with lots of fiber, whole grains, fruits, veggies, legumes.
Okay.
They're like logs on a fire. They
Right.
burn slowly and steadily, so you get sustained energy. Your blood sugar stays balanced.
I'm starting to get the picture here.
No more roller coaster, just a steady burn, keeping you full and satisfied. And as a bonus, fiber is great for those good gut bacteria we talked about earlier.
It's all connected, huh? All right, I'm convinced. Fiber for the win. Now, this research also talked about swapping sugary drinks for water. Is that really such a big deal?
You wouldn't believe how many extra calories people drink without even realizing it. Soda, juice, fancy coffee drinks, they all add up fast.
Point taken. Water it is. And what about those refined grains? What should we be eating instead?
Go for whole grains whenever you can. So, brown rice instead of white rice, whole wheat bread over white bread, quinoa instead of couscous. It's easy to do, you get more fiber and nutrients, and it tastes just as good.
Whole grain swap. Check. But let's be real. Sometimes those cravings for treats hit hard. What should we do then?
It's all about balance. If you try to completely avoid things you love, you'll probably just end up binging on them later. So, have a cookie if you want one, just don't eat the whole bag.
You're saying enjoy it, but in moderation.
Exactly. It's about finding an approach that works for you long term.
Makes sense. Okay, so we've talked a lot about what we eat, but what about exercise? What did this research say about that?
Well, it basically supports what we already know, which is that the best approach is to combine aerobic exercise with strength training.
Okay, remind me why that's the best combo.
So aerobic exercise like running, swimming, biking, that gets your heart rate up, burns calories, and it's good for your heart.
Right.
But strength training, that builds muscle,
Mm.
and muscle burns more calories, even when you're not working out.
Oh, yeah. So it's kind of a double whammy. Burn calories while you exercise and
Yeah.
boost your metabolism so you burn more overall.
That's the idea. And we can't forget the mental and emotional benefits of exercise either.
It's like the ultimate self-care. Wow, this deep dive has been a whirlwind. I can't believe how many things affect our weight that I never even thought about.
It's amazing, isn't it? And shows how much power we have to make changes.
Yeah, I think the biggest takeaway for me is that it's not about finding a quick fix or blaming myself. It's about learning, making good choices, and being kind to myself along the way.
Absolutely. And remember, even small changes can add up to big results over time.
That's encouraging. Well, I think we've covered just about everything on this topic for now.
Thank-
Any final words of wisdom for our listeners?
I hope everyone feels empowered to take control of their health. It's not about being perfect, it's about making progress.
I love that. Well said. And remember, everyone, the journey to a healthier you is a marathon, not a sprint. Be patient with yourself, celebrate your wins, and never give up on your goals.
And keep learning. There's always new research coming out, new things to discover.
That's what we're here for. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive. Until next time, stay curious, stay informed, and keep striving for your best self.
Man, there's so much to think about from the last part.
Right. It really makes you realize how much is going on behind the scenes when it comes to weight.
Totally.
Yeah.
And I'm still kind of stuck on that whole thing about our internal clock and how it affects how we process calories.
It's wild, isn't it? Like, your metabolism has a schedule.
Yeah. Can we talk more about that? I want to really understand how that works.
So basically, your circadian rhythm, it's like the control center for your body.
Okay.
It regulates a lot of things, like your hormones, when you sleep and wake up,
Right.
and yeah, even how well you burn calories.
So it's like my body saying, time to burn calories. Oh, shift change. Time to slow down.
Yeah, kind of. Studies show that our metabolism is more active during the day when it's light out. So we're better at using food for energy then. So like I said before, eat like a king in the morning, a pauper at night.
Exactly. Which means if you can, try to eat most of your calories earlier in the day. That way you're working with your body's natural rhythm.
Makes sense. But what about people who, work night shifts or have irregular schedules? That must mess with their rhythm, right?
Yeah, it definitely makes things harder. Their circadian rhythms are constantly being disrupted, which can throw off their metabolism and hormones.
So is there anything they can do about it?
Well, the key is to try and stay as consistent as possible, even if your schedule is all over the place.
So even if their day starts at 8 p.m., they should still try to have meals at the same time each day.
Exactly. It's
Yeah.
all about setting consistent signals to your body, helping it establish some sort of rhythm.
Like setting your internal clock, even if it's set to a different time zone.
Exactly. And speaking of adjustments, let's go back to those behavioral things we were talking about earlier.
Oh yeah, mindful eating.
Right,
Yeah.
right. Being present when you're eating, not just mindlessly shoveling food in your mouth.
Okay, no more scrolling on my phone at dinner. But seriously, how do we actually get better at mindful eating?
It starts with slowing down. Don't rush through your meal.
Uh-uh.
Take your time to actually taste each bite, chew your food well, really enjoy the experience.
I think a lot of us forget to even enjoy our food. We're always in such a hurry.
It's true. And another important part is paying attention to your body. Notice when you start to feel full, and stop eating when you get that signal.
That's hard though. I feel like I'm so used to just eating until my plate is empty.
I know, it's a habit we have to break. But you can retrain yourself to listen to your body's cues. It takes practice.
Okay, so ditch the distractions, slow down, savor each bite, listen to my body. What else? What other tips did this research have about changing our behavior around food?
Remember that out of sight, out of mind thing?
Yeah, tell me more about that.
Basically, if you don't have unhealthy snacks around, you're less likely to eat them. So keep them out of sight, put them in a cupboard or something.
It's crazy how much our environment affects us, huh?
It really does. And if you do have a treat, just have a little bit, don't go overboard.
Everything in moderation.
Right. You can still enjoy those foods, just be mindful about it.
And what about food diaries? Are those helpful for, keeping track of things?
Oh, they could be really eye-opening. When you actually write down everything you eat, you might be surprised by your habits. And sometimes just the act of writing it down makes you think twice before you eat something.
It's like that accountability thing again.
Exactly.
Okay, so we've talked about what we eat, how we eat, but now it's time to talk about hormones again, right?
Ah, yes, hormones. They're so crucial when it comes to weight, but also so confusing.
Yeah, I'm still a little lost when it comes to understanding how hormones work.
Well, basically, hormones are like messengers that travel through your body. They tell your organs and systems what to do.
Okay, so they're like the communication system.
Yeah, that's a good way to think about it. And when it comes to weight, there are a few key hormones that are really important.
Like ghrelin and leptin, the ones we talked about before.
Those are the big ones. Ghrelin, that's your hunger hormone. It tells your brain when you need to eat.
So that's what gives me those crazy cravings.
Exactly. And then leptin, that's the hormone that tells your brain you're full.
Okay, so it's like a battle between the two, huh?
Kind of. When everything's working right, those hormones work together to keep your appetite and weight balanced.
But what happens when they're not balanced? Like you mentioned leptin resistance before.
That's when things get tricky. With leptin resistance, your body doesn't respond to leptin as well as it should. So even if you're full, your brain doesn't always get the message.
Oh man, so you might keep eating even though you don't need to.
Exactly. Which can lead to weight gain. But the good news is, there are things you can do to improve your leptin sensitivity.
Okay, tell me everything.
It's all about those healthy habits again. Eating enough protein, exercising regularly, managing your stress, those can all help.
It's like those healthy habits are the key to everything.
Pretty much. They make a difference in so many areas of your health.
And I remember you talking about some research on treatments that try to change your hormone levels?
Oh, yeah. It's still early days for that kind of research, but it's really fascinating. They're looking at ways to manipulate those hormones to help people lose weight.
Wow, so like a weight loss pill that reprograms your hormones? Sign me up.
Haha. Not quite that simple, but who knows what the future holds.
Huh.
It's an area to keep an eye on for sure.
I'm definitely going to be following that research. But before we get too excited about future possibilities, let's come back down to earth and talk about calories.
Right, calories.
I know we've said it a million times, not all calories are created equal, but I need you to explain that to me one more time. Why does it matter where my calories come from if I'm still eating the same amount?
It's all about how your body processes different types of calories.
Okay.
Like processed sugars and refined carbs, those are the ones that get digested super fast.
Right, we talked about those before.
It's like they give you a burst of energy, but then it fizzles out quickly.
Leading to those sugar crashes I hate.
Exactly. And your body tries to regulate those blood sugar spikes by releasing insulin. But sometimes it overcorrects, and then you end up with low blood sugar, which makes you feel tired and hungry for more sugar.
It's like a vicious cycle. So is fiber the answer then?
Fiber can really help. When you eat foods high in fiber like whole grains, fruits, veggies, legumes, they get digested slower And they give you more sustained energy. Your blood sugar stays more balanced.
Okay, so no more roller coaster, just a steady stream of energy.
Exactly. And those high-fiber foods, they're also great for those good gut bacteria we keep talking about.
It all comes back to that, huh? So swap those sugary drinks for water, choose whole grains instead of refined grains, lots of fiber.
Got it. But what about when those cravings for less healthy foods hit? What should we do?
It's all about finding a good balance. If you tell yourself you can never have certain foods, you're more likely to crave them even more.
So it's not about deprivation.
Right, you can still have those treats, just be mindful about it and don't overdo it.
Enjoy it, but in moderation.
Okay, now what about exercise? What did this research say about that?
The best approach is to combine aerobic exercise and strength training.
Right, we talked about that before. Why is that combination so good again?
So with aerobic exercise like running or swimming, you're getting your heart rate up, burning calories, and improving your heart health.
Okay.
But with strength training, you're building muscle, and muscle burns more calories, even when you're just sitting around.
So it's like a 2-for-1 deal.
Exactly. Plus, exercise is good for your mental health, too. It can reduce stress, make you feel happier, help you sleep better.
It's like the ultimate self-care. Wow, this deep dive has been amazing. I can't believe how many things I've learned about weight that I never even considered before.
Me too. It really shows how complex it all is, but also how much power we have to make changes.
Yeah, and I think the most important thing for me to remember is that it's not about finding a quick fix or blaming myself. It's about understanding the science, making good choices, and being kind to myself.
That's a great takeaway. And remember, even small changes can make a big difference over time.
That's encouraging. Well, I think we've covered just about everything on this topic for now. Any last words of wisdom before we wrap up?
I just hope everyone listening feels inspired to take control of their health. It's not about being perfect, it's about progress.
Well said. And remember, everyone, the journey to a healthier you is a marathon, not a sprint. Be patient with yourself, celebrate your wins, and never give up on your goals.
And keep learning. There's always new research and new discoveries being made.
That's what we're here for. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive. We'll be back next time with more insights and information to help you live your best life. Okay, so we're back for the final part of this deep dive, and we've covered a lot of ground. Gut microbes, hormones, you name it. But there's still one thing I want to really understand, and that's calories.
Yeah, I figured you might say that.
I know. We keep saying not all calories are equal, but I need to hear it one more time. Why does it matter where my calories come from if I'm still watching how much I eat overall?
Think of it this way. Your body isn't just crunching numbers. It's reacting to what you put in it.
So it's not just the quantity, it's the quality of those calories.
Exactly. Like, remember those processed sugars and refined carbs we talked about?
Oh, yeah.
Those are like the fast food of the calorie world.
Yeah.
They get digested so quickly.
And that's what leads to those blood sugar spikes and crashes, right?
Exactly. Your body tries to handle those spikes by releasing insulin, which is supposed to bring your blood sugar back down. But sometimes it overdoes it, and then you end up with low blood sugar, which is why you feel tired and hungry and crave more sugary snacks.
Ugh, it's a vicious cycle. So how do we avoid that? Is fiber the answer?
Fiber can really help. Those fiber-rich foods like whole grains, fruits, veggies, legumes, they digest slower and provide more sustained energy. So your blood sugar levels stay more stable.
So it's like slow burning energy instead of that quick burst and then crash.
Exactly. And another bonus fiber is like a feast for those good gut bacteria we talked about.
Right. It's all connected. Okay, so fiber is key. And I remember this research also talked about swapping sugary drinks for water. Is that really that important?
Oh, it makes a huge difference. Those sugary drinks are full of empty calories. They can really sabotage your efforts without you even realizing it.
Okay, I'm ditching the soda. And what about refined grains? What are some good swaps?
Go for whole grains whenever you can. Brown rice instead of white rice, whole wheat bread instead of white bread, quinoa instead of couscous. Easy swaps.
Whole grain swap, check. But what about when you're really craving a treat? Should we just avoid those foods altogether?
I don't think that's realistic or even helpful, honestly. Depriving yourself usually backfires. It's better to just be mindful about it.
So it's okay to have a cookie, just don't eat the whole box.
Exactly. It's about finding a balance you can live with.
Makes sense. Okay, so we've covered food, but what about exercise? What's the best approach?
This research supports what a lot of other research says, which is that a combination of aerobic and strength training is really the best way to go.
Can you remind me why that is?
Sure. So aerobic exercise, things like running, swimming, biking, that gets your heart rate up and burns calories. And strength training builds muscle, which actually helps you burn more calories even when you're not working out.
Ah, so it's kind of a double whammy then.
Exactly. Plus, don't forget the mental and emotional benefits of exercise. It helps with stress, improves your mood, helps you sleep better.
It really is good for everything.
Wow.
Wow, we've learned so much in this deep dive. I had no idea all these things played a role in weight.
Me too. It's fascinating to see how it's all connected.
The biggest thing I've learned is that it's not about quick fixes or blaming myself. It's about understanding the science and making choices that work for me.
Absolutely. And remember, even small changes can make a big difference over time.
So true. Well, I think we've covered everything for today. Any final words of wisdom for our listeners?
I just want everyone to feel empowered to take charge of their health. It's not about perfection, it's about progress.
I love that. Well said. So remember, everyone, the journey to a healthier you is a marathon, not a sprint. Be patient with yourself, celebrate those small wins, and don't give up on your goals.
Keep learning and exploring. There's always something new to discover.
That's what we're all about. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive. Until next time, stay curious, stay informed, and keep striving for your best self.